Hellen Keller. This is a story of a child who became completely deaf and blind before she had learned to talk. Because of her own courage and also that of a wonderful teacher, she learned to talk and write. She was able to go to school and college and to live a full and happy life. Hellen was born in 1880 in USA, small town in southern USA. At 18 months, when she was beginning to talk, she became terribly ill and was nearly died. When she recovered, she was completely deaf and blind. It was very difficult for a deaf child to learn to talk. Most babies learn by hearing other people, but the deaf child cannot hear anyone. So, how can she know what talking sounds like? Many different people learn to lip read and they become very clear at understanding what other people are saying by watching them. But Helen could not see what other people were doing. She remembered a few words before she was ill. For instance, she went on calling water, but she had to make signs for most things. She could shake her hand for no and nod for yes. A pull meant come and a push meant go. But of course, she could say very little like this, and she depended entirely on other people. Yet Helene had an active brain and a clever brain and wanted active mind and a clever brain and wanted to do and say everything any other child would. She used to get into terrible tempers when she could not explain what she meant or understood what others wanted. Then when Helene was nearly 7, Annie Sullivan came to teach her and took after her. This clever and devoted teacher changed Helene's life. Annie Sullivan herself had been nearly blind and had been at a school for blind people. There, Annie Sullivan had learned the finger spelling method. She felt sure that this was the only way to talk to Helene and teach her to say what she wanted, because Helene could not see her making the signs. She would spell the words onto her pupil's hand. Helene had become very sensitive to the feeling of things, much more sensitive than most people are. She could soon tell the difference between feel of one letter and other. Miss Sullivan gave Helene a doll and gave her to spell the doll. Spell the letters DOLL onto the Helene's hand. She did this without the names of other things such as cake and mug. Helene obediently spelled them back, but she did not understand what it all meant, and she grew bored and unhappy. She would not try any more, and poor Helene Sullivan did not know what to do next. Then one day, Mrs. Sullivan took Helene outside to the water pump. As the water spilled into Helene's mug and overflowed on her hand, Miss Sullivan spilled water on her other hand. Suddenly, Helene's face lit up. She understood that water was the name of the cold, wet stuff, and it came to her in a flash that everything has a name. Touching by her little sister, she spelled baby, which was one of the word Miss Sullivan had shown her all the day and day after. Helene darted from one thing to the next, demanding that Mrs. Sullivan should spell their names for her. She soon became so excited that she could hardly control herself. At last, word began to have a meaning for her. She then learned the names of action as well as sit, as things sit, stand, run, walk, and then descriptions of thing and action: hard, soft, quickly, slowly. From then on, she was able to learn as any child does. Only Helene spelled words with her fingers instead of saying them aloud. Although she made noises, she still could not talk. Now that she had started to learn, Helene, with her quick brain and good memory, learned very fast. Indeed, she learned to spell words incredibly fast, and soon as she and her beloved teacher could have long conversations wherever they went. Miss Sullivan described things to her and told her what people are saying. Soon Helene learned to write on a special frame with ridges to keep the lines straight, and later she learned to type. She began to read Braille books. The next thing was to learn to talk aloud. For this, she had a special teacher who taught her how to move her lips and tongue. Helene quickly learned to talk also and to listen to people speaking by putting her sensitive fingers on their lips and throats. This meant that she could talk with people who did not know the fingerspelling method, as long as the work needing less endless patience by both pupil and teacher and long practice. In time she could talk, read and write, and even learn to speak French and Germany. Now Helene was determined to go to the university and take a degree. When she was 20, she sat for the entrance examinations of Radcliffe College, one of the best colleges in America. The papers were set in Braille and she typed her answers. Of course, she could not read what she had written. She had to take a chance that she made no mistakes. She had no difficulty in passing the examinations and entering Radcliffe. Miss Sullivan was with her all through her time at the university. In the end, this little girl at 7 lived in a dark world, unable to hear or speak. Won her university honors. Throughout her life, she helped other blind people to find courage. She traveled all over the world, inspiring everyone by her example. Hellen Keller lived to a ripe old age of 88. She passed away in 1968. Thank you.